Hey folks, it's Autumn from the blog atraditionallife.com, and today I want to show you how to transplant your spring onion seedlings. Now when it comes to growing onions in the garden, especially if you live in a little bit more of a northern climate or you don't have as long of a growing season, you actually can't sow your seeds directly into the garden and expect to get a full harvest. Onions take a very long time to mature, so what a lot of gardeners do is there's three things. Either they will take their seeds and start them indoors under a grow light in January, February. You've got to get a really long jump start on that growing season, and they will let their little onions grow till they have till their growing season starts in their area. So once that's about 3 weeks away from their last average frost date, they will take them out, divide out each little onion and plant it in the soil, which is what we are going to be doing today. The other option, which I actually prefer, is you can buy onion sets. Onion sets are tiny little bulbs that were grown the previous year, pulled out, cured, and then stored over winter, and then are sold for replanting the following spring. That's my favorite option because it's super fast, and I actually have a whole video tutorial for you on how to do that. I'll link that below or else at the end of this video, but it's super fast, my preference. And the third option is actually you can take seeds, plant them in your garden just at the beginning of your normal gardening season, and you can grow your own sets. So you'll have to lift them out, you'll have to cure them, store them, and then replant them the following year to get like those big full onions that we all love. In spite of the fact that I love growing my onions from sets, this year I am doing some onion seedlings. I did not start these myself. I bought them from someone local who has kind of a backyard gardening business, and it's going to take a long time. These are very tedious to plant because you have to separate out each individual onion and plant it in your garden. Buying seedlings is way cheaper than buying sets, but it takes a really long time. So let's get started with planting these. I actually have 4 packets of them. We'll see how far we get with that today, but we'll plunk away at this for the rest of the week, trying to get all these in the ground. So how do you transplant your spring onion seedlings? Well, you're going to go to your garden bed and you're going to part your rotten hay or straw or whatever kind of mulch you're using. Initially, you're going to just tip them out of the pack and break off a clump. And you're going to put them in about 8 to 10 inches apart. 10 inches is probably a little much. 8 is probably a better bet, but sometimes it actually depends on your onion variety. So if you know the type, go ahead and look it up online and just see what they recommend for spacing. Some onions have smaller bulbs, some onions have really big bulbs, and so that's important to know for your spacing so that you can maximize your harvest and maximize your garden space so you don't have a lot of wasted space in your onion bed. It takes a long time. You just have to plant and plant and plant. So go at it, break it up in the day if you need to. And another thing I should say, if you are transplanting and you're noticing that your onions are very floppy, it could be that they're too long. So you can take scissors actually before you plant if they seem long and lanky and kind of weak, and just chop them. You can cut them back. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and chop them off, and then they will be a little more firm and secure when you put them in. And another thing you can actually do if they're weak and wobbly is just to plant them a little bit deeper. Now you don't want to go too deep because you need onions to be close enough to the surface that that round bulb can form, but go ahead and put them an inch and a half in the soil, maybe even 2 inches. They'll be all right. Now you're probably noticing that as I plant a row of these spring onion seedlings, I will then push my mulch kind of right up against the row. And there's a couple reasons for doing this. The first is it's going to help suppress more weeds. So the less open soil you have in your bed, the less opportunity there is for weeds to grow, and that's a lot less work for you in the long run. The second reason is that it helps retain moisture in and around your onion. Having that layer of rotten hay or rotten straw will really help lock in the moisture, which is a good thing for your onions. The third reason is it really helps maximize space in your garden bed. Just keep planting. That's the moral of the story when you are putting in spring onion seedlings, is you just have to keep planting. Don't give up. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Last but not least, if you are transplanting when the sun is out, especially, or if it's warm, or just in general, unless you're getting rain that night or the following day, make sure you water your onions. Give them a good drowning so that they can stay hydrated. They're more likely to survive if you go that way. You might be wondering, what do you have to do to your onions after you've put them in? Is there special care? Is there special needs? And all I find with my onions is if they're mulched well, I have to spot weed 3 times a year, maybe at best if there's really tough and stubborn weeds that come through. You water just like you water the rest of your garden. And then as the fall comes in, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to back off a little bit. And then I actually have a full tutorial on how to harvest and cure and store onions. So I will link that below, and I will also put that, I'll probably put the little box video at the end of this video, so you can click on that and go just see how that works, because that's actually really important for a good onion harvest. And especially if you want them for winter storage, you need to know when to harvest them, how to cure them, and then as well how to store them, because that actually matters. Onions, hint, onions do not like moisture when they're in storage. They like it cool, but they like it dry. Very important for long-term storage. All right, folks, thanks for joining me. If you have comments or questions, leave them below and I will get back to you on them. And I will see you next time.